6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The federal government has decided to enforce climate and agriculture emergencies across the country to support the farmers affected by the floods. The Prime Minister has directed the National Disaster Management Authority to fully cooperate with the Sindh government in conducting relief operations across the province. The Finance Minister has reaffirmed the government's commitment to create an enabling environment for business and investment. Pakistan has urged the Security Council to revitalize the United Nations peacekeeping. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference has called for withdrawing August 5, 2019 actions and the Indian troops from the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The second match of the T20 Asia Cup will be played between the United Arab Emirates and India in Dubai this evening. And now the news in detail. The government has decided to enforce climate and agriculture emergencies across the country to address the growing climatic challenges and support the farmers affected by the severe flooding. This was stated by the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Tariq Fazil Chaudhry during a media talk in Islamabad alongside the Minister for Petroleum Ali Parvez Malik while announcing decisions of the Federal Cabinet. The Minister for Parliamentary Affairs emphasised that cooperation from all the provincial stakeholders, including those from Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir, will be essential in implementing these measures. He said the federal government will play its due role and other stakeholders will contribute their part to address these challenges. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has termed his visit to China as successful. Chairing the Federal Cabinet meeting in Islamabad today, he said his visit culminated in $8.5 billion worth of joint ventures and memoranda of understanding. The Prime Minister said the Planning Minister Ehsan Iqbal will be visiting China on the 26th of this month for launching the second phase of CPAC. He said the second phase of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor will cover cooperation in agriculture, mines, business-to-business investment, and special economic zones. He said the Chinese investment will be 85% for the Karakoram Highway. Shehbaz Sharif paid tribute to the armed forces for their sacrifices in the war against terrorism. He strongly condemned the propaganda by certain elements against the armed forces and its leadership. As regards to the devastating impacts of floods in the country, the Prime Minister said a committee headed by the Planning Minister Ehsan Iqbal is being constituted to deal with the situation arising out of the floods. Shehbaz Sharif said the floods claimed lives of about 1,000 people and left thousands of others injured. He said an assessment is being carried out to determine the damage caused by the floods to crops. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has directed the National Disaster Management Authority to fully cooperate with the Sindh government in conducting relief operations across the province, including Karachi. He gave these directions while taking notice of the ongoing flood situation in Sindh. The Prime Minister lauded the efforts of Rescue 1122, Pakistan Army and the Rangers for their active participation in the relief activities in Karachi. Expressing sorrow over the tragic drowning of citizens in Gadab River, the Prime Minister ordered relevant agencies to urgently locate and rescue the missing individuals. He also called for swift measures to restore communication infrastructure damaged by the floods. The Prime Minister said both the federal and the Sindh governments are working in coordination to address the crisis. The National Disaster Management Authority has provided over 1,500 tons of relief goods to the flood-affected people of the Punjab so far. The relief items include heaters, folding beds, mattresses and quilts. The Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb has reaffirmed the government's commitment to create an enabling environment for business and investment. Talking to a delegation of the Pakistan Business Council in Islamabad, he said the government fully recognizes the importance of upgrading port, road and rail infrastructure to further support domestic commerce and expand external trade opportunities. He outlined the government's efforts in rescue and relief, infrastructure rehabilitation, and need-based assessments while drawing on lessons learned from 2020 floods. The delegation appreciated the government's economic direction and policy measures, assuring full support to the government in policy research and formulation. This is Radio Pakistan giving you the news. Pakistan has urged the United Nations Security Council to revitalize United Nations peacekeeping. Speaking at the Security Council, Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Asim Iftikhar Ahmed, called on the United Nations Security Council to act to prevent one of multilateralism's most effective tools from devolving into a fiasco. Asim Iftikhar Ahmed said over 250,000 Pakistanis have served in 48 missions, with 182 peacekeepers making the ultimate sacrifice. Green Tourism Private Limited has inaugurated Green Park Riverfront Naran, located on the banks of Kunhar River. This tourist destination is a beautiful blend of modern facilities and natural scenery. Riverside gardens, open-air dining and charming huts are the main attractions for the tourists. Pakistan's tourism sector is expected to exceed $4 billion in revenue this year. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference has called for withdrawing the August 5, 2019 actions and the Indian troops from the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In a statement today, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference spokesman Advocate Abdur Rashid Minhas also called for releasing all the illegally detained Kashmiri Hurriyat leaders and activists languishing in different jails of India and the held territory. Meanwhile, New Delhi-controlled State Investigation Agency raided several houses at Avantipura and Beach Behara areas of Pulwama and Islamabad Anantnag districts. The Indian forces, including army, paramilitary and police and agencies, enjoy the cover of the Black Law Armed Forces Special Powers Act in occupied Kashmir. In India, over 650 homes of Muslim families have been demolished in Assam. According to the chairman of the Socialist Party India Parliamentary Board, Sayyid Tahseen Ahmed, homes of Muslims were targeted despite their proper documents. 5 more people, including a child, were killed in Gaza due to starvation and malnutrition during the last 24 hours. According to Wafa news agency, the death toll has reached over 400, including over 140 children in Gaza due to hunger. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has termed the Israeli attack on Doha as flagrant violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Qatar. Addressing a news conference in New York, he called on all the parties to work towards achieving a permanent ceasefire. Similarly, the Secretary-General of the Arab League, Ahmed Abul Ghaith, also condemned in the strongest terms the aggression launched by Israel in Doha. In a statement, he called on the international community to assume its responsibilities to stop repeated Israeli aggressions. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has expressed concern over the law and order situation in Nepal and called for restraint to avoid further escalation of violence. In a post on social media platform X, he urged to follow the course of dialogue towards forging a constructive path forward. In the United Kingdom, Pakistani shooter Huzaifa Gill has won the silver medal in 800 yards individual event at the European F-Class Long Range Championships 2025. Over 260 shooters from 18 countries participated in the competition. Cricket. The second match of the T20 Asia Cup will be played between the United Arab Emirates and India at Dubai today. The match will start at 7:30 in the evening. And finally, the weather report. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. More rain, wind, and thunder showers are expected in South Balochistan and Lower Sindh, while heavy falls are also expected in Makran coast. Weather is expected to remain hot and dry in most of the flood affected areas and districts of the Punjab during the next few days. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.